What's going on, y'all? I know it's been a while, but June has finally arrived and we are back here now. And the word is we have got rid of AJ Brown. All the speculation and all the rumors have wound up being true. So here we are now. This situation right here is a little funny because you can have different feelings. You can have multiple feelings on this. You can kind of understand where AJ is coming from with the situation with the coaching staff and all of that being a big problem with us not achieving what we set out to do last year, which is go back to the Super Bowl. That could potentially drive almost any athlete away from a franchise. But in the same vein, you can say for all the problems that this team has had, we've had a lot of accomplishments in the last 4 years as well. So it wasn't like AJ Brown didn't get anything in exchange for all the issues that he was having. My personal opinion, again, when it comes back to Jalen Hurts, is this whole situation debacle really just changed their relationship. They may not be enemies, they may have love for one another, but seeing how those brothers was before, when we had announced that AJ Brown was coming to the Eagles, I believe Jalen Hurts is like the godfather to one of his kids or something like that. Like the brothers was pretty much close. They were very close in the beginning. Like we could see like it was about to be a duo match made in heaven. And to now where it is now, when I saw the interview from yesterday, I think he did with 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, and just to look at where they are now, it makes you wonder, was it just football that got in between their relationship, or was it some off the field stuff as well? I think it's okay for any athlete to be unhappy with a situation, but it's the way you go about it. And make sure you continuously keep it as business. Don't make it personal unless, some personal stuff happened on the side. Again, as I stated before. I'm gonna assume that there wasn't. It was just all football. And it just is sad to see how these brothers, the whole demeanor between them two has changed. I mean, I don't even believe, I think they said Jalen Hurts didn't even go to his wedding. And that's an interesting unravel. I'm happy AJ Brown could finally get what he wanted. I appreciated having him here. I don't have no love lost against the brother. I have my issues again as far as the way he would stir up controversy and could be a little problematic and divish at times. But overall, I understand it. I don't condone it. I understand it. For instance, the book on the sideline and just putting up posts. We went through the previous videos with it. I don't have to go through all of it with y'all again, but you get what I mean. He kind of pushed he kind of agitated the bear a little bit. He agitated the bear, and the more you agitate the bear, as I stated before, it brings more looks to the locker room. It kind of divides the locker room a little bit. We had several signs showing us. I mean, for instance, with Brandon Graham pretty much explaining that Jalen Hurts was trying to meet him halfway, trying to make it work. And number 11 just wasn't trying to work. He was over it. Ultimately, AJ Brown was over this whole thing way before, it even went the way it did with San Francisco. I believe he checked out emotionally and physically, and I believe it tied into his game. That's why I say physically.
Picked up, Hurts, AJ Brown, he drops it! Oh.
I mean, if you look at the rumors we heard about from early in the season last year, where I think as early as the Rams game, a couple weeks in, I think it was week 4 or whatever the case, they say he was already requesting a trade. So the water finally just boiled over at this point, and he's happy. It seems like, based off of the press conference after his first practice session with the Patriots, you can just see the difference in the vibe to when he came here and being excited to play with his boy versus going to the Patriots, and it's just like his words. It felt like Christmas. We apparently couldn't make him feel that way. He was never truly ours. To sum it up, he was never truly ours. I mean, what kind of had me a little tight was that whole Patriots rug.
While you were an Eagle, you had this rug in your house?
Absolutely.
You gotta tell me why.
Some things just never change. This is my team. This is my team since I was a kid. So.
Nah, that's out of pocket right there. Like that's new. We can't have that. As intense as this fan base is, you got a Patriot rug, and you talking about this was a while now. Like this wasn't, I think last couple years you had that rug. I'm being funny. Like I'm having fun with it. No problem to the brother. The brother can like what he want. Do what he want. He gonna do what he want. In all reality, he's where he wanted to be, and that's ultimately what it's all about. But you can see that in this situation with the Patriots, he's more likely to fight for it. He's going to fight for it more. In the Eagles situation, I felt like with all the trouble we were having, that's what you can respect about Jalen and Saquon and a lot of these other guys, is they fought for it. He keep it in the locker room. Jalen don't leak nothing. Saquon as well. Devontae Smith, all these brothers, you can see the type of way they get down. And I respect that about him. And that's the way you keep the culture in the locker room tight and strong. AJ Brown, he just got a different way of doing things. I mean, he didn't lie about anything he said. He was honest about everything he was talking about, the things that he revealed to the media. But just the idea that you knew you were causing confrontation, and your excuse is that you thought you could bring the locker room together more, build guys up, and raise the stakes by doing so. That's not a good enough excuse in my opinion. And ultimately, you ended up being the only one who really had the serious problem with it all. Enough to leave. Obviously, the way you left wasn't ideal. You just walked out after the loss to San Francisco. We remember all of that. Again, we thankful for what you did, but it felt a little salty. I feel a little salty. I got to be honest. I mean, I just feel like you were so. Just the attitude around it. I feel like you didn't want to fight for this relationship. You didn't want to fight for the Birds. And I could just see the elation on your face when you went to the Patriots, because that's your childhood team, and that's all fine and good for you. But don't try to smoke screen us and try to make it seem.
Like I said, I'm enjoying it. It's obviously, I know this ain't heaven, but it's close to it.
Don't try to oversell it like you really wanted to ultimately be here and it just didn't work out because of the circumstance. When I promise you, it's not gonna happen in New England, because what's gonna happen is he feels more connected with the Patriots. So when they go through series of losing games and things, he's gonna try to galvanize the guys and come together, and he's not gonna be that agent of I don't want to say agent of evil, because I don't call him evil. He ain't evil. He a good dude. I seen him on the side, outside of all of this, and he a cool dude, like keeping it 100. But you sowing doubt and havoc a little bit under the table a little bit. That's what you did here. You sowed a little bit of dissent and got rumors going. You don't mean the guys going at each other's neck, a little bit, arguments and all of that stuff. I'm sure in the locker room, all based off of you dropping stuff and releasing things. The media driving everybody crazy, just with these crazy. I ain't even trying to go down that road. Anyway, I don't believe it's gonna happen in New England with all of that. You're gonna handle it a different way because you feel more connected and you feel like you embody the New England Patriots because they're your team. That's your baby. Truthfully, soon as it started getting a little rough, you was out. As much issues as this team has had and downs this team has had, there's been a lot of upsides. I mean, you went to 2 Super Bowls and won one of them in like the last 4 years. That's not bad. That, you know what I mean? Like a lot of dudes would take that, would really take that. Like just based off of that, you got to give a little bit of credibility to the system to want to see it through, to see like at least with after we got Sean Mannion, to see what the situation would be. Maybe it turn around and it might be something where we might be at the Super Bowl next year. You never know. I don't want to say just yet because we got to see how it goes, but just give him the benefit of the doubt. But Howie does his thing, and they try. They try. You know what I mean? They try. They experiment, and a lot of experiments go wrong, but they try. And you just wasn't trying to see that through. You made your mind up. You was out. You was ready to go. Again, another Super Bowl wouldn't have kept you here. Even after going to the Super Bowl, you still had a problem. You didn't win it the way you want. You didn't win it on your back exclusively. If that's the way it was put, pretty much. And I think in New England, that's how you want to do. You want to be in New England, win it on your back. Probably even if you didn't, you probably still be more understanding, just because you just have a connection with the team, and that's cool. But this Bird gang over here, again, good luck to you, and that's pretty much where this whole thing ends. That's all.